Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Really short week for us. I know it's a press conference on Monday, but it's a Tuesday afternoon for us from a practice standpoint. So we've had to move on pretty quickly. We were with the guys yesterday, didn't practice, but just walked through some things. And today will be kind of a normal Tuesday practice. We won't put pads on today, but we'll resume that tomorrow. It's going to be a quick turnaround, and we got a lot of guys banged up, which we assumed from the game, and hopefully we can get those guys back. I don't have a total injury report for you, but hopefully we can get those guys back. And we're actually hoping the weather turns a little bit here because it's going to be really hot down there, and it's cool today, but it sounds like the weather's going to get a little warmer here so we can get a little bit of heat and humidity here. So fire away.
Chris, whenever you coach a game and it doesn't go your way, how do you decide, or what goes into the decision whether you want to be like hard on the guys or gentle? And
and sometimes, like the week before when it went our way, it's probably easier to be hard on them, and I thought we were really hard on them after UND, and this week, twofold, with it being a short week, I think we were challenging on some guys that we know have to and can play better. And then the flip side of that is, now it was Monday yesterday. We've got to be firm, and then we've got to wipe it clean because we've got to get back and get ready to work.
Does anything really translate from what you just had to prepare for to this game?
Nothing on the defensive side, because, and even if you're Arizona, you're watching that saying, okay, unless we're going to run triple option, none of that really applies. It does on offense, just with what we've done the first 3 games. On an offense, it's a 3-game story. On defense, it's a 2-game story because of what we faced. And so we've got to clean some things up on offense, probably more so that affect this game than what the last one was.
A year ago with Arizona, you had to focus in on McMillan at receiver so much. How much different is this prep?
It's a lot different because they have 2 new coordinators, and the challenge is they've had 2 games where they were much, much better than their opponent, and to their credit, they got after both of them really, really pretty quickly. I tried to stay up on Saturday night for last one, but I couldn't against Weber because it was, I think, a delay. But that one, they throttled them pretty early. So how much film are you taking from all that? But I will tell you this. I love the quarterback. I think he's a stud, and I thought he was really good last year. And he started off really, really good. They're doing some unique things on defense that they weren't doing last year with a new coordinator and a new scheme, and they're playing at a really high level right now. And the kids, you can tell when you blow people out like they have the first 2 weeks, you gain confidence, and you can tell they're playing with a lot of confidence really on both sides of the ball.
Is there a chance Dylan will be ready to play this week?
It's probably 50-50. He was out there at the walkthrough. He's not practicing today. That's a concern, for him moving forward. I know that we don't have injury reports this week, so it's not a Big 12 game. I don't know. It's not out, but he's probably in that questionable to doubtful range.
What's the hardest thing about recovering physically from a game like that? When you mentioned Army blocks in a certain way, and you're on the field for so long, how do you recover from that?
Our D-line is the one that we've got to be smart with those guys. Those guys are going to play physical. They've proven they have for the amount of years that these kids have been here on the defensive line. And so we've got to take care of those guys. Damien and Uso are going to play their tails off. We need to make sure that they're as fresh and as healthy as we can get them for Friday night, rather than them seeing a ton of pictures that they've probably seen over the last handful of years. So those 2 in particular, that really stand out to me. And then we rotated enough of the defensive ends that they're not as probably as beat up, although they've played a lot of snaps. So we just got to be really smart. But that's on a short week. You can't go a normal padded Tuesday. We're not padding today, and it's Monday. It was, we're less than 48 hours from that last game, so we need to take care of those guys.
I also want to ask, mentally, where do you think the guys are at after the first 3 games?
Frustrated. Obviously not a great mental state when you have 3 one-score games and you don't find a way to win 2 of them. I think they realize, and I think we all do when you go back and look at the film of the 3 games, how close we are, but close doesn't count. And it's a handful of plays in all 3 phases, offense, defense, and teams, that if we can flip it, we really can turn this. On the positive note, I was happy for Bryce Nornberg, and I was happy that we were able to get a big-time kick return, and really had 2 big-time kick returns. I thought Bryce's opening kickoff return was really good too, getting 55 yards, and that kid was banged up all week, and he found a way to play, which I'm really pleased with Bryce. And good things happen to good people, and Bryce Nornberg, I think you're getting a chance to visit with him maybe this week. What a special young man, and so happy for him.
Give us a little bit more of the story on him and just what he's been able to do.
Yeah, he walked onto our program when you can have walk-ons, and has earned an opportunity with us. And he's earned it because of, one, great speed, attention to detail, a guy that does all the little things and continues to get stronger. And he's already extremely fast. He played quarterback in high school, but we knew he was a guy that could be somebody similar to maybe Seth. You think that's a comparison, is somebody when Seth was young doing this. And Bryce is obviously doing some things on kick return. He's also on our punt at times. But I'm just happy for the guy because he's been nicked up a number of times since he's been here in a short period of time, and I know that's frustrated him. But he stayed the course. Some guys get banged up and they kind of fall off the wayside for a while. He never did that. He attacked his rehab, got himself healthy. We tried him last year on kick return as a true freshman, and I know that some kids are ready to go as true freshmen, some guys are not. But even if it was just a few returns last year that he got, and I can remember a couple that we played in our stadium, I think that gave him some confidence going back there. And you can tell that, the kid throws his body around. And I know that the guys on the kick return team were excited to get it blocked up for him.
I know this is a non-conference game, but if you just look around at the Big 12 teams, just how competitive you feel like this conference is going to be this year.
Yeah, we had a couple of really good wins in league play last year, last week, a couple of tough losses in league play. But, I think we all know what kind of conference we have and how competitive it is. And, it just, the quarterback plays, I think, where it's really, really good right now. I know the Baylor kid had a really good day. The TCU kid's a really good player, of guys that I've seen on TV watching a little bit. Obviously, Arizona's kid's really, really good. Iowa State's kid's good. Arizona State's kid's good. Our kid's good. So, that's the big thing is the quarterback play. KU's got a great quarterback. It's quarterback driven.
Is Bryce on scholarship now?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
I feel
yes.
like a butt's coming.
Yes, he is on some scholarship right now. You bet.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I don't know how to explain anymore.
Yeah, that's available to you now.
Exactly right. We were able to, and I think that's the best way to put it, Fitz. We were able to take care of a handful of kids in the past where you couldn't give them anything. Now we're able to take care of them in some capacity. I let Clint kind of handle that as far as how much they are. I don't know all that. I probably could ask him and he'd tell me because I'm his boss still. But there's a handful of guys that we were able to take a couple scholarships, break them up, and help those guys. And obviously Bryce was one of those guys.
Give me your evaluation of the 4-man front and going back to it at this point.
I'm pleased with it. We did not play very well against UND, and then you got to take the Army game out. That's the hard thing because we were going to play in a 4-man front regardless of what we were going to change because that's what Joe and I know in defending the option. So against North Dakota, we didn't play great, and I think Joe would tell you the same thing. I don't think sometimes we put our kids in the best possibilities to make plays in that game against North Dakota on the defensive line. I think we've cleaned some of that up. We're going to find out this week if we've cleaned some of that up. There's a really good chance we can get Ryan Davis back this week. And Toby's playing really good football, but it gives us another guy on the edge that, I think when we were all at media day in Dallas, everybody, you ask those older kids, give me one guy that everybody's excited about. It was Ryan Davis. And he's going to practice today, so let's see what happens. But that would help solidify some things on the defensive line and maybe not have to play Damon Uso as much as we have. That's probably the thing. We've been down Holden Bass, who could help us. We've been down Asher, who could help us. We've been down Malcolm, who could help us. So you take those three guys out, you take Ryan Davis out, and now you become pretty thin on that four-down front. And we're going to get Ryan back. We hope to get Asher back. We hope to get Malcolm back. Won't get Holden back yet. But I think, we got to get to this bye week, but I think we'll get some of those guys back.
So give me your thoughts on how the offensive line played and what little they played.
Yeah, exactly right, as little as it played. Still probably missing too many things in the run game. That's the biggest thing that I would say. And you could ask TP or Liney or Hecht. We missed ID'd some stuff more so than we're just not sustaining blocks as much. And we addressed it yesterday. We corrected it. Those kids will take ownership in it, those older guys, because we misfit some things. On the same respect, we have to be able to break tackles, and we can't block a play for 4 yards and get 4 yards. We got to block a play for 4 yards and get 9 and get 10, and that's the challenge that is being made to the running backs, to guys getting jet sweeps and wide receivers, to the tight ends blocking, to the wideouts on the perimeter. Sometimes it's blocked really well up front, and we ID it really well, but we don't crack a safety, and then it looks like the O-line's really bad. And it's not the O-line. We didn't crack the safety that we should take care of. So it's a collection of all 11 guys in the run game for us, whether it's blocking inside, blocking on the perimeter, and then being able to make a guy miss or breaking a tackle.
Coach, did you think if Army had their starting quarterback, you would have seen maybe a little bit less, just straight up flex bone triple option?
I have no idea. That's hard to answer. Just don't know. I wish I could explain more, but I don't know. Sorry, I can't give you more on that. I don't know.
Is there any added urgency offensively, given they just didn't really have a chance to get into a rhythm in that second half against Army early in the game against Arizona?
Yeah. I think we were urgent and ready to go offensively. We messed up a few times, and everybody was a part of that. But like I said on Saturday, that's just a unique style of football that doesn't happen all the time. The last time I remember it happened was Navy. When you see it and they can run the ball as many times as they do and don't care that they're getting 3 yards a pop because it's a first down.
Coach, I know you said you don't have your injury report, but do you expect J.B. Bradley?
No, we will not have JB.
Okay.
No, I think he's going to be down for a few weeks. We're learning more, I think, this week with some more imaging, but it's likely that we're going to miss him for a few weeks. But I don't know if that's 2. I don't know if that's 4. But I doubt if we'll have JB.
Did it happen on that play in the end zone?
Yep.
Okay. Back to Bryce for just a second. You mentioned he played quarterback in high school. How do you go about turning somebody like that who may never have done it in high school into a kick returner at this level?
I think you get the big key is if you have the ball in your hands, which Bryce had the ball in his hands a lot at Olathe, that he's going to find ways to get creases and understand blocking schemes and understand how to make people miss. But then we spend a decent amount of time on our special teams, and we spend a lot of time blocking on that crew and getting as good a live looks without without tackling guys and stuff, as good a live looks as you can. But the big key on that is in the guys that we've had here. So we've had some really good kick returners, as you guys know. Do you hit it, or do you kind of stutter step through there? If you stutter step through there, you're not going to be very good. If you hit it, I look at Malik Knowles and Youngblood and some of those guys that just boom and hit that thing. That's what Bryce does, and you got to have kind of a no fear factor on that, because you're going to get whacked a few times by doing it. But we always say it's like running through the smoke. And there was the first kick return he had where he got out past the 50. I mean, there wasn't a space that big, and we walled a kid out, and Mikey Bergeron did a phenomenal job of blocking a guy, and he hit that crease. And if he kind of tiptoes in there, we probably don't make it. You got to be able to hit it.
And along with having no fear, you have to have amnesia too, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he knows he can't do what happened to him against UND, and it happened. But you probably grow from that too as a young player.
Also in terms of, like you said, getting whacked.
Yeah.
Some amazing shots.
Yep.
I was going to ask about Arizona's receivers. It seems like Tedero was special. I think everybody saw that.
Yep.
But they've got 11 guys on their depth chart, and all of them play. Your thoughts on those guys and how different they are.
Yeah, and I don't know all their names, but they had the explosive plays with the same guy in back-to-back plays, really, of that last game that he was playing in the slot, and he just ran by people. They're always going to have really good speed. I think Coach Brennan does a phenomenal job out there, he's got a really good team this year. You can tell that there's a lot of belief, and when you got a quarterback like that, it's probably pretty fun to play wide receiver for their team and their guys, and so they're going to spread it around. I like their running backs. They're good up front. It's going to be a big challenge for us because of the talent of the quarterback. You can't just say you're going to stock everybody up against the run, because I think he can beat you with one-on-one coverage with the wideouts, as well as a kid throws the ball on time and it has unbelievable arm talent.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that part of it too. You mentioned the new coordinator. Without maybe giving away too much, does this fit him? He just seems, maybe it's experience too, just so and I know they've had blowouts, but
yeah, I think it's experience. I think you see Avery. I think he's better and better because of experience. And the more snaps you get, no matter what the offensive play calling is, it's pictures, it's understanding where your receivers are, and understanding the leverage of defensive backs. And I think this kid does a phenomenal job of that. And from an arm talent standpoint, he's as good as there is that we're going to play this year as far as pure arm talent.
Chris, they've got a guy who was on Kansas State's roster last year. You got a guy who was on Arizona's roster last year. What do you tell these guys when they're going up against their old school?
I don't really mention it much. We asked Gunnar just about the stadium and the crowd and stuff, because Gunnar's used to it, and I know Trey's there, and that's college football now. And so I'm happy for Trey Spivey that he found a home that and he's playing, and that's what it's about, is finding a place that you fit and play. And happy for Trey, happy that we were able to get Gunnar here. But that's just college football now, and so it's probably, we don't talk about it because it is so much the norm now.
You mentioned the other night blocking out the outside noise.
Yep.
How difficult is that as the boss of this outfit to kind of make that happen, or try to make that happen?
For myself, it's pretty easy. I'm so consumed on a day-to-day basis with everything I have to do to prepare, to get ready for different things, that you never have a chance to even open up your phone. I didn't watch any NFL football yesterday or last night. You just don't have any time. For our players, I think it's extremely hard for our players. The guys that have been around long enough are mature enough to know that you're going to read something that's really positive about you. You're going to read something that's really negative about you. A lot of it is nobody that really knows you. And I think the older guys respect everybody's opinion of it. The younger guys take it too personal, and that's just. I get it. I probably would have too. I'm glad I didn't play in this era. But it's our society now, and that's okay. I mean, you're either going to let it consume you, let it fuel you, or you're not going to pay attention to it. And there's probably all three.
I go back to the summer with the program because that seemed like it was such an incredible experience. Looking back on that to where you're at now, what do you like most about the leadership of this team?
We had a good meeting yesterday of the accountability factor for those guys, that they understand that we're in a tough spot, not a crisis, but a tough spot, that we're still growing. We're still going to get some guys back that are banged up, that we just need to keep finding a way to play better football every day and not worry about trying to play better football on Saturday. Because if we just focus on thinking, how can we play better on Saturday, we're missing the boat, because we got to practice better today. We got to practice with intentional focus on Tuesday. We got to practice with a mentality on Wednesday. We got to have walkthroughs and meetings and recovery and nutrition with mentality Monday through Friday to give yourself a chance to be good on Saturday. And the ones that aren't as good of leaders focus all on the result of it. And it's not. It's the process of getting to that day. And that's what we're trying to keep preaching to the new guys, freshmen, transfers, whatever you say, of that's how we've been successful here. We always talk about it. Nate Katzer and I always talk about, hey, I'm coming to K-State. They just win. They're going to find a way to win games. Well, you got to figure out how we're doing that and what has made us successful by how we attack our preparation, how we attack our recovery, how we attack practice, how we hold each other accountable. Because if you don't do those things and just expect to win and you don't have the habits, you're not going to win.